Hello and welcome to LunaKage and Mr. You Suck's unnamed wrestling podcast.
LunaKage is, I get first billing. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I just realized that.
You're the one that gets first billing. This was your idea. This is your show.
I mean, I guess you supply all the equipment and all the actual work.
Yeah, but you're the actual one that, has the wrestling knowledge. I'm still relatively new to this. Okay. I just like it.
Oh, I actually had an idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how feasible it could be now that I got the new job and everything.
Yes.
But I was thinking about having a get together or something, probably not once a week, but sometime when it wasn't a pay-per-view and we could just go back and watch an old pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'd love to do something like that.
It'd be pretty sweet.
It's still super feasible because now I live 15 minutes away.
That's true. So I guess if you ever feel like staying up till 4 a.m, you could.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it wouldn't even be that late.
It was like Friday night after casuals. You just come down here and watch a pay-per-view and review it.
Because I'll be home at 10:30 at the latest.
I just have to truck 15 minutes instead of 40 minutes back home. So yeah, that's easy. We can do the hell out of that.
Sweet.
I'd love to do something like that. Regardless, today's episode is going to be the lead-in to both NXT Takeover and SummerSlam 2015. It's going to be a very jam-packed weekend for the WWE.
Happens back to back.
Yep. Saturday is going to be NXT Takeover, and SummerSlam is going to be Sunday, both in the same venue.
And Takeover is live, right?
I believe. I'm actually not sure. I'm not too sure on the detail. We're going to talk about NXT Takeover, and there's some details I'm not too sure about, but I don't know what's on the actual card that's going to be broadcasted.
I like that they're doing it this way better because something made it feel less special when you watched a takeover event on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So a Saturday, even though it's not a pay-per-view Sunday, it's still fucking.
It's the weekend,
especially when it's a part of a pay-per-view weekend.
Yeah.
You got what is essentially two pay-per-views back to back. One is Takeover is going to be 2 hours like normal, right? Mm-hmm. And then SummerSlam is going to be 4. It's going to be 6 hours of wrestling in 2 days, not even counting the pre-shows.
Yeah, and I go one step further, and I'd say that Takeover deserves to be a weekend event.
Yeah.
I started watching NXT at Our Evolution Takeover, and I've been consistently impressed with
Our Evolution was what was that, the third one?
There was NXT Arrival, NXT Takeover, NXT Something Else Takeover.
Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah, Fatal 4-Way Takeover. And then there was NXT Takeover Our Evolution, NXT Takeover Rival, and now we're up to NXT Takeover.
And I know this is kind of old hat at this point, but a lot of people hated the Rival name. I thought it was great because the first NXT event was Arrival, and the way they did it was capital A, lowercase r, capital R, and then the rest of Arrival.
Yeah.
And then a year later, the fifth NXT event was TakeOver Rival. And there was even a few times where they would show Arrival and then they would fucking stamp out the A and the R at the beginning. Mm-hmm. And I fucking loved that shit. Everyone was so oh, Rival's such a weird, shitty name. Fuck you, it's great. I love it.
They have some weird names because Our Evolution is pretty weird in terms of naming. It's Revolution, but they separate it. But they made it work. I liked it a lot.
I thought that was clever too because Our Evolution, it's supposed to be our
evolution. Yeah, I think
it was great.
It's really there's a lot behind it. It's very coy.
Yeah.
This one's pretty basic. It's just NXT Takeover Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Or as Kevin Owens said, Brooklyn. That's the best part of the whole NXT Takeover.
He's such a good heel.
He's such a great heel. God. But before we get into anything like that, just quick notice, Rowdy Roddy Piper passed away recently.
Oh yeah, that was right after we did our last
one,
wasn't it?
That was right after we did our last week.
And I feel kind of bad for that because just in the last episode we were talking about Dusty and how good it's how we were almost there was a silver lining to someone dying because then we got to see awesome promo packages. And then right after that he died and I was like, fuck. Yeah. I feel like we did that.
It's something you say, but you hope never actually comes true. And when it happens, you're like, oh shit, I didn't want this. And we're, I don't know about you, but I definitely know Piper a lot more than I knew Dusty.
Yeah.
Much more familiar with Piper. I actually, when I was at this most recent Motor City Comic Con, Piper was there. And
really?
I didn't get a chance to say hi or get a signature or anything because his line was nonstop.
I bet.
Nonstop, out the door, man.
Not only that, but like I wouldn't like with how Piper was, I wouldn't be surprised if he talked each individual fan's ear off.
Oh,
because he was a talkative motherfucker,
man.
Man.
And then like 7 booths down was Scott Steiner, who had nobody. But I'm too scared to talk to Scott Steiner.
the big bad booty daddy, though?
Yeah, he was right there. I was kind of like fanboying from a distance. I'm like, oh, it's Scott Steiner.
Dude, I would have like walked up to him and I would have been like, sir, you're not doing anything. Could I record you talking for like 5 minutes? Because
can you cut a promo about me being a fat nerd?
Yeah. He's fat. You know?
I'm ugly. Yeah, super entertaining person, but I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know how much of Scott Steiner was actually real Scott Steiner.
Oh,
So yeah, absolute shame that Roddy Piper passed away. It was a 61, which is
he looked
tragic.
A lot better than 61.
Yeah, no, he looked good, and I don't know if this was something that WWE was holding on to and they were going to make a series out of, and then Piper died and it just became, I hate to say, convenient timing, but I popped onto the network one day and like the most recent video they had up was a new thing called Table for 3, and it's Mean Gene Okerlund, Roddy Piper, and Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff.
Oh, wow.
And it's just
he looked old when he was. He's one of those Hulk Hogan guys where it's like he looked old when he was young.
Mean Gene or Paul Orndorff?
No, Paul Orndorff.
Yeah. Mean Gene always looked old too.
Yeah, he did.
Mean Gene probably went balding at like the age of 20 or something.
Poor guy.
But I mean, Mean Gene has always been my favorite WWE employee.
Really?
Yeah.
Just in general?
In general, I've always thought he was the best.
You know what? This might get off onto a tangent, but
let me finish the Table for 3 before we say it's those 3 guys sitting around having breakfast at a nice diner, and they've got cameras on them and everything, and Mean Gene's kind of feeding Mr. Wonderful and Piper some questions, and Piper, you know how Piper is.
Oh, yeah.
He's having a blast with it. You watch it and you go, Jesus, hell, did we lose someone?
Yeah.
Because he's just got the ability to go on and on for hours about stories.
And you know what kind of sucks the most about him passing when he did is that it was right after the whole thing with Stone Cold. Him and Stone Cold. You hear about that?
No, I don't think I did.
Yeah, like, kind of like a bunch of mudslinging back and forth between, well, I can't really say that, but they kind of had words, I guess, because like the last episode of Piper's podcast they did, he had who was it, Will Sasso on, and Will Sasso was doing his Stone Cold impersonation the whole time, and they were kind of being a little shitty, I guess.
Okay.
And
being minor shitheads.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it was all in good fun. I don't know the 100% story, but basically, Piper's podcast was canceled after that, and he blamed Stone Cold for it. Because, like, I guess Stone Cold got upset about it, and I was curious because, like, the Raw right after is when Stone Cold had his podcast with Paige on the network.
I didn't catch that one yet.
I was wondering if he was going to mention it at all, but he didn't. Thought it was pretty weird.
Did you see the Paige podcast?
Yeah.
Was it any good?
Okay, yeah. Okay. Like they did talk about Paige, which was good. Like, because you could tell Paige was like a last minute thing. It was supposed to be Hulk Hogan. Yeah. But then the thing happened, and then you can't really.
Minor tangent. This will be very quickly resolved. Last week we talked about Hulk Hogan, and you brought up that well, yes. But you brought up that they're doing a fire sale of Hulk Hogan, getting him out of the company, and then when all the heat's gone, they're just going to hire him back in.
Yeah.
And like as soon as I left your house, I thought, isn't that what they did with Pat Patterson back in the early 90s?
Honestly, I know very little about Pat Patterson. Like I know a thing or two about a thing or two, but like, I mean, about any kind of fucking conflicts he might have had with the company, no way.
Yeah, I thought I remember there being a sex scandal involved in the early 90s. Pat Patterson, a couple of people, they fired some people, including Pat Patterson, and then when the heat was gone, they hired him back in.
The only thing I could think of is because Pat Patterson was gay. Well, he still is.
Still is.
But I think there was some issue involving that, like maybe him with
possibly. I think there were issues with him just being all in people's wrestlers' business when he's not supposed to be.
I mean, when you're a gay guy surrounded by like wrestlers, I imagine that'd be one of the best jobs in the world.
If that's the eye candy you're looking for, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, shit, because
Anyways, want to move on to the NXT card? We got any more tangents? We got our 10-minute pre-show tangent is over.
What was I gonna say?
I know you had a
about Mean Gene.
Mean Gene, okay.
See, Mean Gene was like one of the last, if not the last, backstage guys, interviewer type deals, who actually had a personality that you could market off of.
Yes.
Like, you think of like some of your favorites now, like Renee Young. She's great, but she's still just...
Her personality is, I'm not cardboard.
Well, no, it's just every single backstage announcer is just the person holding the mic.
Yeah, that's the problem. Everyone
Instead
else is
of Mean Gene, where he was motherfucking Mean Gene Okerlund, Like, fucking... You knew it was going to be a great promo when Hulk Hogan just like, let me tell you something, Mean Gene,
Oh, certainly, Hulk.
Could you like imagine like any like he had a Mean Gene as a nickname?
The thing is because I knew of Mean Gene growing up as like a lot of the superstars of the late '80s kind of thing. I always felt like Mean Gene was a wrestler, not like he is a wrestler, but he was in the same legion of guys. Like, because it's not that you have like these guys out there in wacky costumes and gimmicks, but then when you're done with the match, you go back to the backstage, and there's a guy that, for all intents and purposes, has his own wacky gimmick and costume.
Right.
He's Mean Gene Okerlund. He's not just the announcer. He's got his own nickname.
I mean, and it's not even just that. Like, even managers just kind of... There's none of that. The only managers nowadays are valets and Paul Heyman. Mm-hmm. And Paul Heyman comes from that era.
Yeah, I'd say Paul Heyman's, from a dying breed.
So, like, could you imagine? Like, they don't even have to be as good as Paul Heyman. But, like, when you think about back in the day, you had Paul Heyman and fucking Jim Cornette. Like, if you ever watch any old Jim Cornette promos, it's like, holy shit, this guy looks like me in my 30s, Like, well, me in my 40s, maybe. But, like, he's just a big, tubby dude, glasses, like, very clean cut. But he starts talking, and you're like, "Holy shit, this guy's got a fucking tongue on him,"
Yeah, like, the only people that are of any worth to me as backstage announcers or anything, or interviewers, are Renee Young, 'cause she's bubbly, has personality to her, and JoJo.
JoJo, I do like JoJo, but again, she's another one of those people holding a microphone. There's literally no difference between her and Byron Saxton.
Yeah, Byron Saxton is the worst offender for being a cardboard cutout holding a microphone.
I mean, he's doing it, on commentary now.
And it's a cardboard cutout with a microphone.
And it's not necessarily a knock against him, because that's how they're training him to do it.
Last episode we talked about how Byron's lack of anything on commentary is most likely not his fault.
Right.
But it's just, as the weeks continue, it's really obvious to tell that he is just the butt monkey of every joke. Like last week, Dean came in.
Yeah.
With Dean
Ambrose on commentary though.
Yeah. it was like Bray takes a seat and then kind of watches the match, and Dean's like, "Get me in here," and he just grabs Byron's seat, and Byron's kind of standing there awkwardly. And that's not the first time they've done that spot over the past couple weeks, where like Byron gets his chair stolen.
Wait, are you talking about this Raw? Did you watch this Raw? Yeah, this Raw. Apparently, because I guess it happened on SmackDown or maybe last Raw, where Dean took his seat, but on this episode, Dean already had a seat. He was taking the fourth seat, and then when Bray came out.
Oh yeah, Bray came out. He was, Bray, let me get you a seat, like a jackass. Like he takes it from. That's it.
That was so awesome.
It was great. Dean was really good on that. But it's just like, if you're gonna have a guy out there, make him worthwhile, please.
I mean, like literally, who he is right now is just who Michael Cole used to be, because that's who Michael Cole was. If you look back, there was a few times when it would be like, King, JR, Michael Cole, there'd be a couple of times, and Michael Cole's job was to take the abuse, and like he still does that, honestly.
He does.
But that was pretty much his sole job for the longest time, And eventually he grew into his own, and it's not like he's necessarily got his own kind of gimmick personality, but at least now he's Michael Cole.
Yeah, Byron gets a more fair shake on NXT.
Yeah,
because they have a more standard setup there, where Rich is the play-by-play, Byron's face announcer, and Corey's heel.
Yeah,
but he's still not.
What fantastic. I think WWE missed out on a great potential announcer with Matt Striker, and he's the one who's guilty or credited, depending on how you felt about it. He's the one who was credited for shouting the line "I'm marking out, bro" on commentary. And the thing is, he tried to be a lot like Mike Tenay back in the day, because Mike Tenay was what do they call him? The Professor.
That's who I was thinking of, the Professor.
They called him the Professor Mike Tenay.
Yeah, you said Matt Striker, and I was thinking of the Professor.
Yeah, because he knew he was in WCW, where the other two announcers didn't know shit about shit, So they put Mike Tenay out there with all these guys from Japan, these luchadors from Mexico, coming in, and he knew the names of the moves, he actually could tell you some shit. So that's basically who I saw in Matt Striker, but he was also a good hype man too. And yeah, he wasn't super good by the time they stopped putting him on commentary, because that's what WWE did. They saw him taking liberties. They were like, you used the term Mark.
Yeah, you can't break that kayfabe, bro.
You said Mark Jindrak. No, but but yeah, they fired him, and now he's on Lucha Underground as a commentator, and he's really good on there. So it's like, well, he fucked up.
Is it him and Vampiro are commentators?
It was him and Vampiro.
On Lucha, I haven't watched Lucha Underground, but
now there's another guy. I don't know. I haven't watched Lucha Underground in a while, but I've kind of caught up with it because a lot of the podcasts I listen to cover it.
Mm-hmm.
And supposedly Vampiro became a wrestler again for a night, and then because he had a feud with somebody.
Okay.
And now he's managing that person.
Oh, okay,
so now he's more like a manager, and it's pretty cool. I imagine him being an interesting manager because of how he is. So I'm probably gonna have to go back and watch that, and hopefully they get a second season, because I'd like to start, catching up with it.
I've always been interested by it, but I barely have the time for what little WWE I currently watch.
Well, let me tell you something. The 2, 3, maybe 4, I think, episodes of Lucha Underground I watched were amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. So and it doesn't it's not going to take up as much of your time. It's only an hour.
Oh, that's great. I'm so about that.
Yep.
All right. I think we can sufficiently call the UWP pre-show done.
How long has it been so far?
18 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
That's probably about where it usually is.
That's the length of a pre-show match, I'd say.
You get your pre-show money.
Right.
So we got NXT Takeover Brooklyn this Saturday. I looked up on Wikipedia what the card was, and it gave me the entire card, not really what is being broadcasted, but I also haven't really had the time to tell you how long Takeover is going to be or anything like that. So a couple of these matches I'm pretty sure are just going to be dark matches. Carmella versus Eva Marie.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a dark match.
Bull Dempsey versus Elias Sampson.
Literally who?
I've heard that jobber name before. That's the thing, that you have a hard time keeping track of all the jobbers in NXT because they're trying to train them up.
Right.
Charlotte, Becky, Dana Brooke, and Emma in a four-way.
So Charlotte, Becky and Becky are going to be pulling double duty this weekend?
Yeah.
Damn.
Welcome to the business, kids.
They're going to be getting paid, hopefully, at least.
Kevin Owens is doing double duty.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's Kevin Owens.
He's also,
It's like...
He's also been at this a lot longer.
Yeah, I mean, when divas do it, it's it seems a little bit more... at least these particular divas.
Yeah. Oh, if there's anyone I would want doing double duty,
right,
it'd be these girls.
Oh, I'd love to do double duty with those two.
But that match probably not going to be broadcasted. I wouldn't.
You think so?
I wouldn't.
What was it again?
Charlotte, Becky, Dana, Emma, Fatal 4-Way. That's about where my
maybe
this could probably start being broadcasted category came in.
I mean, it could be, because again, you got those two, and then Emma, she's trying to get over with a new kind of gimmick.
Yeah.
Who's Dana?
Dana Brooke is the fitness chick with the platinum silver hair, really big muscles.
Yeah, I don't
The one that pats people on the head after they're done
I haven't
talking.
seen NXT in a while, honestly. I
She's
basically
not that
just
great.
watched the...
She came out, and then they put a lot of like promo hype into her, and then she came out, and she wasn't that great, so they immediately paired her with Emma to try and make it a little better, and it has been. So, but I mean, it's
kind of like what they did with Roman Reigns.
It's developmental, so I'm never gonna complain about anything like that. It's developmental,
Yeah.
you know. It's NXT. Let the guys go out there and fail if they have to, and they'll get better. That's how it goes.
Absolutely.
This one, I believe, is where they start broadcasting because they mentioned this on yesterday's episode. It's Enzo and Cass versus Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder, the Hype Brothers, versus Jordan and Gable, who I like. And Dawson and Wilder. And so will probably be...
And that's not for a title or anything?
Nope, that's just a tag match.
4-way tag match?
That's a 4-way tag match.
Damn. I mean, if Zack Ryder's in it, it might not be broadcasted. So, you know, because like they don't like giving him too much screen time.
Yeah, hey, they put him in NXT and he's been getting screen time for it.
Has he?
Yeah. Because he's in a tag team with Mojo Rawley, who's another person they just plucked out.
Yeah,
it's pluck him out, put him in a tag team with Zack Ryder, get him out there, and it's doing well. They're fun to watch. So they've been doing a lot of promo packages for, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, Uhaa Nation. Yeah. The second A's throwing me off. So he's been rebranded as Apollo Crews.
Yeah.
And he debuts versus Ty Dillinger.
Ty Dillinger.
Who has his Perfect 10 gimmick.
Perfect 10, huh?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I think he's only had like one match with that gimmick. I'm not sure.
It feels like they've done so much between these last two specials compared to fucking before. Because like I feel like I'm missing everything now.
Well, the thing is, it's starting to like build up like the lesser known guys a lot.
Yeah.
So we've got Uhaa Nation's debuting. Ty Dillinger's had a match. He's not established, but he's there. Jordan and Gable are now. They had some promo time between them, and so a slow burner into them being a tag team.
One thing
Dawson and Wilder's now a tag team. So
one thing that's really kind of irritating me though is like I know a lot of people give WWE flack about the first name, last name thing. And for some people, it's not a big deal. Like, for example, Antonio Cesaro.
Yeah.
I mean, they changed them back, but like, guys who are already established, like Cesaro, fucking, this Cruz guy, what did you say his name was?
Apollo Crews.
Apollo Crews.
That's his new name.
For one, that's a cool name anyway.
It is cool.
Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman, well, not necessarily Roman Reigns, but, fucking Cassius Ohno, when that was a thing. All these guys have in common is that they were already established in the indies. So it's like them having a generic jobber name doesn't necessarily matter because they're going to be big anyway. But when you literally throw first name, last name on people no one have heard of, it's really hard to give a fuck.
That's what the tag match is like, because you have Enzo Amore and Big Colin Cassidy, which are names. Yeah. And then you have Zack Ryder, who we know.
Yeah.
Mojo Rawley, who is of note because his first name is Mojo.
Yeah.
That's that. Then you have Justin Jordan and Chad Gable, who is notable only because I thought his name was Clark Gable for a while.
The funniest thing about those two names is they sound like generic.
They sound like super generic.
Indie mid-card names. Like the kind of guys that not even fucking Ring of Honor will put a belt on.
Gable has his gimmick in his like Chinese bootleg John Cena business where he's got the towel. He's got the towel that says Gable on it.
Okay.
So his gimmick is Ready, Willing, and Gable. And everyone hates the gimmick in kayfabe. All these people hate the gimmick.
Yeah.
So when they were like promoting the tag match, everyone's like taking their turn talking, and you can see this big shit-eating grin on Chad Gable's face. He's like, "'Cause we're ready," and everyone's like, "Oh my god, willing, Jesus." And Jordan looks over at Dawson and Wilder like, "Come on, guys, let's just play along with this one." And Gable. So he's got that helping him out, but Dawson and Wilder have showed up a couple times as like jobbers, and now they're a team. But once again, it's first name, last name. Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, I think it is.
They're just like running out of. I mean, Dash Wilder, I guess.
Dash Wilder's a cool name.
But like
Scott Dawson's.
What the fuck kind of name?
Dawson's Creek.
Yeah, like. You got
Mojo Riley's cool. Dash Wilder's cool.
I mean, like, honestly, you're going to run into issues no matter which side of the argument you take because, you could say where are the guys named Edge and Undertaker, but then it's like, if you were to just name one of those guys the Decimator, then you'd go on to like, oh, it's a corny wrestling name.
Yeah,
so there's really no winning, Like,
it is, and they've done a good enough job with it. Like, I like Chad Gable's name because that sounds very classic American, and his thing is that he was a United States Olympic wrestler. So that works with that. Apollo Crews is a really nice sounding name. I think Hot Nation is way cooler.
Well, I mean, he's also an established dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Apollo though.
Apollo,
you know that when he goes to the main roster, they're just going to cut off Crews from his name.
Yeah.
He's just going to be
Apollo, which is cooler.
It's a cool fuck.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. If there's one person I wanted to have their full name, it's Adrian Neville. I don't like just Neville.
Because, like, if you just call him Neville, he could just be Aaron Neville.
Yeah,
which would be hilarious.
I think he's better out. He's better out with his full name. So the Apollo Crews debuts. This slow burner of a feud finally happens. Baron Corbin versus Samoa Joe. We finally get to see Baron Corbin try to wrestle another match.
I can't believe they let him keep his name. Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
I still just can't believe it.
I think they knew that they would have fires under their asses from the fans if they didn't.
Because, like, I mean, what really could you name him, I guess? But still, though, it just blew my
The joke
mind.
was naming him Joey Samoa.
Joey Samoa.
But I'm somewhat looking forward to this match, only because Baron Corbin is the guy that, like, shows up every week or two, doesn't do anything.
Isn't he heel now?
Yeah, I never watched him heel his face, but, like, ever since Our Evolution the booking gimmick for him is that he finishes his match in like less than 10 seconds. He's like, I don't get paid by the hour kind of thing. And so because of that, now all that happens is that he comes out, squashes the guy, does end of days and leaves in like 10 seconds. And you're like, okay, great, another fucking squash match. And nothing ever comes of it. He had a good match against Rhino at the last TakeOver event, which made him look pretty good.
Yeah. But
you can tell he's one of the guys in developmental that they're trying to, like, hey, we need you to work on some promo skills. Hey, we need you to work on something. But every week he comes out, he just does a...
And it's going to be really hard for him, too, because he does not have a very characteristic voice.
No.
Like, for his big, imposing kind of frame, his voice comes out very unassuming and meek.
Yeah, and my problem is now they've booked him to the point where it's like, okay, his gimmick is that he comes out here and wins a match in 10 seconds. So now you need to actually, at some point, get him to start wrestling matches, and that's going to kill the gimmick you've made.
Or, even better, hook him up with a motherfucking actual manager. Give him a mouthpiece, somebody who can actually do it, like... That'd be
nice.
Fucking, I know Enzo Amore is still a wrestler, but he could just be a fucking like he could easily be a manager, just a manager. He works well for Colin. Fucking, how often does Colin Cassidy talk?
He's got his like one prepared line.
Yeah,
and that's fine.
Then like even guys that fucking can't be wrestlers anymore, and then they put on commentary. That's fine, but
didn't they have Prince Albert on commentary?
Yeah,
have someone that's established like that be.
Maybe not necessarily him, because he would like literally fucking tower over most of the people.
But he probably wouldn't look that bad next to Baron Corbin, who's like freaking massive.
But like a guy like Corey Graves, he could easily be a man.
Yeah,
especially to Baron Corbin.
Exactly,
because like they're both tatted up.
And not to mention, he already plays the heel role of like promoting Baron Corbin.
He would go out, talk shit, and then Baron Corbin would beat guys with 3 moves.
Yeah,
that's literally what Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar do.
The problem with it right now is that because Full Sail is also the smarkiest crowd ever, he's catching actual anti-heat. Baron Corbin.
Yeah,
because no one enjoys watching. I was telling my friend Brad about this. No one enjoys a piss match break that is too quick for you to actually go piss.
Yeah.
So that's that. I'm excited for this because I want to see Baron Corbin do better. So I want to see an actual match. That's what they had with That's why they have people like Rhino down there. They put on actual matches with veterans, and now he's in another actual match with a veteran.
If you thought his match with Rhino was good, then his match with Joe would be great.
Yeah,
because
I'm
Samoa Joe is a really good, like, just wrestler in general. He can be a ring general. He could carry that match.
Yeah.
If anything,
So I'm looking forward to that. Next up, Sasha and Bayley for the NXT Women's belts.
Yes.
So Sasha drops it to Bayley.
Of course.
Yep.
I mean,
Bayley gets
unless they, and I know they won't do it, but unless they wanted to do something where it was like, because Sasha just recently tapped out Nikki Bella.
Yes.
So like they could easily just have like a title versus, and I kind of want it to happen where it's like they do title versus title. Sasha wins, unifies the titles, and then instead of it being the NXT Women's Champion and the WWE Divas Champion, they combine and become the WWE Women's Champion and bring that shit back instead of the fucking butterfly belt.
Yeah, the bedazzled belt.
And then they could just reinstate the NXT Women's Championship. Because like they did that with Paige, Paige Paige did hold both titles at one point. her first night on Raw.
She went on her first night, right?
Yeah, her first night on Raw, she beat AJ for it, so she had both titles. Then JBL was like, because he was the fucking GM of NXT at the time. He was like, yeah, you fucking, you're on Raw now, so we need to take that NXT title from you and hold a tournament, Okay. But I mean, so that's why I know 100% Bayley's winning tonight. But I would just love to think of any way for them to turn the Divas title back into the women's title and make it stop being so fucking dumb. And if there's any chance of that happening, it's going to be after
the I got some things to say about the streak a little later down. I'm sure we both do. But other than that, it should be a very good match.
Yeah,
it should be a very good match.
There'll be lots of hugging.
Yes, it should be fun. Blake and Murphy versus the Vaudevillains for the NXT Tag Team. Please give the belt to the Vaudevillains before Aiden English loses all of his hair. I swear that dude's hairline is going by the day.
Yeah.
I do not remember it being that bad like a month or two ago.
Dude, all I know is that Blake and Murphy, I don't understand why they gave it to him to begin with.
I was okay with them getting it when because they first came in and they wrestled a match versus Lucha Dragons, and it was really good. And it was a super good match. And then they wrestled them again for the belt after that, and it was another like superstar match. Like they were doing all sorts of great reversals and everything. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Put it on them. And then they had their feud like with them and Alexa Bliss and Enzo Cass and Carmella. That made sense. Now that that's done, I'm like, why do they still have the belts? So it felt like they've worn out their welcome with the belts.
My problem with them having the belts ever was that I'm never a fan of giving somebody a belt before they are anything.
Yes. Yes.
They can put on as many good matches as they want, but like nobody was a fan of theirs still. Yet, they can have good matches with the Lucha Dragons because the Lucha Dragons are good. But when you don't have a personality yet, you're in developmental,
and you have a shit opening theme.
Yeah, like they could have just easily skipped this stupid step and just had fucking the Vaudevillains win. Because Vaudevillains are finally gonna win.
Yeah,
I fucking hope.
I hope so. So please give it to them. Big match. I'm actually really excited for. Juicing Thunder Liger and Tyler Breeze.
Yep.
That should be a lot of fun. No real feud or anything. It's just kind of like Tyler comes into William Regal's office, like, hey, find me somebody worth fighting. Chop, chop. And, week after week. And then he comes back, he goes, sup, I got Thunder Liger over here.
Is Tyler Breeze's new gimmick that he's, like, racist towards Japanese people?
No.
Like, his last two big opponents have been Japanese.
It's just that he hates everyone that's not as pretty as him.
He thinks they're uggos. Which is wrong because Japanese people are fucking beautiful.
They're beautiful.
Fucking like Hideo Itami, yeah, I'd suck his little fucking Asian dick. Like, if he wanted me to, I'd be like, okay, I guess.
Actually, on that topic, this is something I didn't want to bring up. Not
the topic of sucking Asian dick.
Not the topic of his dick. On the topic of Hideo Itami. I want to give props to NXT for doing so well with Zayn and Hideo being gone. Because that's two of your big, especially Zayn, two of your big, like, NXT 5 not there. And then Neville and Kevin Owens are in the process of hightailing it to Raw, so, like, they've done a really good job of keeping that show alive and kicking with Finn Balor and Tyler Breeze.
Yep. Although, like...
You can definitely feel the fact that they're missing, but they're doing a great job.
I think the main reason why I'm not as hyped about this NXT event is because for like Balor versus Kevin Owens, two guys that are great, but like it's kind of like watching a Randy Orton match for me. I just don't care about this one because I feel like they're only doing it because they have no one there right now.
I feel it.
And I really hate like fucking throwaway filler matches, even if they're built the way they're supposed to be. I can always feel that this isn't what they wanted to do.
Yeah, that's why I do like the fact that Finn and Kevin Owens is a ladder match.
Yeah,
it's not a regular singles match. That really helps alleviate that sting, and that makes me feel like it's going to be something a little different, and it's going to be a very good match.
Right.
So I've got a lot of high expectations for TakeOver Brooklyn's. I really want to give a huge shout out to Kevin Owens for the day that because when William Regal came out with Finn and Kevin for the contract signing, he's like, we're doing it in Brooklyn, and Full Sail, being the crowd of smarky assholes that they are, started booing. And so Kevin Owens is doing his promo, and he's like, yeah, and I'll see you at NXT TakeOver, and he turns to the crowd and goes, Brooklyn, and just to rile them up, which is greght.
I don't necessarily think the reason why they boo is because they're smarky or anything like that. I think I'm pretty sure that the guys at Full Sail, the fans, they get in free if they're students.
Okay.
Which would mean, like, every so often, like every month, you get to fucking sit and watch NXT for free. So being a wrestling fan in Full Sail is great. So, and that included the 2-hour events. So when it's like, yeah, you're not going to be able to get this one for free. We're taking it on the road. They're upset about it. They're like, we wanted to see it in live.
And then, but this week, Kevin Owens comes out and kind of addresses that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because you didn't catch this week, but the final segment is Kevin Owens coming out to cut a promo. And I couldn't tell what it was. They were saying I was watching on my phone while eating dinner. There's like some crowd member guy that's like either booing Brooklyn or booing Kevin Owens, and he's like, let's talk about that for a second. He's like, you guys cheer me when you want me to win, but you don't cheer me because you like me. You just cheer me when it's time. And then we go to Brooklyn and sell out the Barclays Center, and you're all pissed because you're not there. And he's just kind of like, he kind of calls them out on being, what I think they're smarky assholes.
Yeah.
And it was great. I don't know if that was, planned or anything, but he came out there and he's like, fuck you guys. And it was perfect. Such a good heel.
Yeah.
I love it. I love Kevin Owens. So
you'll love to hate him.
Love him to death. So that's NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. And then the following day, Sunday at 6, I believe it is, for us in the EST, SummerSlam starts.
It'll be starting at 7, but we'll probably start watching at 6 for the pre-show.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So SummerSlam is 4 hours long.
4.
Jeez.
Which I feel like is the most worthless year to have 4 hours SummerSlam. Because it's like, the main event is Brock Lesnar, Undertaker.
Yeah.
Then the second biggest match is John Cena versus Seth Rollins.
I don't know if you looked at the card, but that's third from last match. They got the dead spot match being Sheamus and Randy Orton. Good, I know.
It's gonna suck that they're that late on the show, and I would much rather than be a fucking curtain jerker.
Yeah, okay, so curtain jerker is, and I'm actually super okay.
Wait, you said that's gonna be the second, Randy Orton and Sheamus?
Randy Orton is the dead match right before the main event. So we'll get to this, because if you're thinking about possible cash-in shenanigans, Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to that point in the schedule, because I had a lot of like, how's that gonna work?
Because that's a big question mark.
Yeah.
And it's giving me a bunch of like fucking crazy ideas.
Yeah, I know. It gives me some ideas on it too, but Curtain Jerk is Dolph valeted by Lana with going up against Rusev valeted by Summer, and I hope this just fucking ends this angle. I want this to stop so bad.
I mean, like, Rusev has kind of always been like this for me. I just don't care about Rusev. Like, and I don't necessarily care about Lana either. Like, I'll always like Ziggler, but I'll always hate it when he's doing nothing.
Yeah, I like Ziggler a lot.
When he's feuding with somebody like Rusev, and it's not like Rusev is like this fucking jobber or anything.
No.
He's just, again, he's a guy that I don't really personally care about. Like, I like him. I think he's good, but I don't really care about seeing him on TV.
You don't connect with him.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Like, much like him, I am a big refrigerator-shaped human being, but
Definitely.
for different reasons.
Definitely, you both could both fit into a refrigerator cardboard box.
But I don't know. Like, I just feel like they did the foreign heel thing, by the book. There's nothing special about it.
Yeah,
and now they're just doing like a cuck gimmick.
It feels it's one of those things that I feel kind of bad for Rusev. Like, oh, you have to play the evil foreign heel in 2015.
Yeah.
It's not your WrestleMania 7 or whatever it was.
Like, I think in a perfect world they would have fucking, they would have kept Rusev undefeated, and then like fucking, kept Brock Lesnar as champion and undefeated for an entire another fucking year, and then had those two compete against each other, and those guys have the unification match at SummerSlam, because that would be a great, like, if they were to do it like that, if Rusev would have been a dominant United States undefeated champion up until now, and Brock Lesnar would have continued to hold the title since last SummerSlam, was it last SummerSlam? Yeah.
Yeah, he beat
John Cena. If he were to be dominant and undefeated, both of them like that, all the way up until now, and you would have had those two big-ass fucking monsters, undefeated, both in the
refrigerator
match.
demolition derby.
Yeah. That would have been a ridiculously great main event for the first 4-hour SummerSlam. Not a match we've already seen before. We've already, like, sure, fucking, it's a rematch that I guess should have happened sometime down the line.
Yeah.
But the specialness is not there because it's a streak rematch, but it's not at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So it's like, who gives a fuck?
It feels shoehorned in somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's a match about Mania, not at Mania.
And the build-up has been fine. It's been great.
The build-up's been fine. I like it.
But I don't fucking care about this match.
No.
And we're jumping ahead of ourselves. But, again, Rusev, do not care about him.
Because I think we've been forced to not care about Rusev because he was unbeatable, and then he got hit with a case of feuding with John Cena-itis.
Yeah.
And so he's feuding with Cena, and he loses at Mania, and they have the Russian chain match, and he loses, and it wasn't really fun. And then the worst part is like, oh, it's my third match? Better have an I Quit match with John Cena. And at that point, anyone who's kind of caring about Rusev is already checked out, because well, we know how this is going to end.
And it's almost like that with Kevin Owens now too.
Yeah,
to be completely honest,
it's feeling it, and I'm really scared. But the thing is, after that, then they throw Rusev into a romance angle, and so you're like, okay,
which is never
productive.
Yeah.
So now you have the guy who was like the unbeatable Bulgarian, and now he's flirting with being a comedy guy.
Yeah.
Because he's like giving Summer like a puppy named Dog Ziggler.
Dog Ziggler was great.
That was good, but like the cut off head of the fish. I'm like, okay, this is not funny anymore. Dog Ziggler was great.
But the fish, it's got its head cut off. Yeah. So what does a fish with its head cut off?
Yeah,
it's basically just a vagina.
Sure, I guess. I'm not going to debate you on that. I don't want to go down that road. So.
I've gone down that road a couple of times. Let me tell you something about that. There was something fishy about it.
Oh, Jesus, I hate you. I hate you. But yeah, in terms of match quality, it'll be an okay match, and then I'll not care about it.
I mean, you can't.
It'll be a fine curtain jerker match.
It'll be a fine curtain jerker match. Nothing more really needs to be said.
Yeah. Quick note: whatever the pre-show match is, it's not King Barrett. You did it.
You sure?
Does he have to do double duty in the same night by doing
the fact that he got shoehorned in is so hilarious to me because it's like fucking the Steve Amell, right?
Steve Amell.
Literally the only reason is because it happened in the middle of a Neville and Barrett match.
Yeah.
Like it was just a thrown together match. And then Stardust comes out because he's technically feuding with Neville.
Yeah, technically.
And he's also technically feuding with Amell. And then Barrett just so happened to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's
I'm okay
with that.
And we'll get to that in a couple of matches too. But
so he's gonna get paid slightly more than usual.
You did it, buddy. You did
it. You got almost a jester's wage going on. Not quite the king wage.
So the second match is a 3-team elimination between Team Bella, Team Black and Dangerous, and Team Oops, we fucked up all the names. So, I guess now would be a good time to talk about the Divas division as a whole, because Divas Revolution has started, and for the most part, it's been better. I've enjoyed it more. That said, there's been a lot of, ditches in the road that the car keeps hitting.
Yeah.
So it's an upgrade. They now get 2 segments per show.
Yep.
And that's great.
And that's already giving them more credibility because it's like they're.
That's what gives them the credibility. Because you can't have just 1 segment per show and tell us to care. 2 segments per show is great.
Because 1 segment per show, especially in 3 hours. Mm-hmm. By the time the show's over, you forget that 1 segment.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Make me care. Yeah. Remind me that something's going on.
The thing that is great about it is that it's the same storyline.
Mm-hmm.
You're showcasing the same divas every time.
Yeah. So my quick list of complaints so far, and I do want to preface this by saying it is overall better, but there's still some things they need to work on. There's multiple matches being brought down by lesser workers. The first one that comes to mind was the first match. It was Sasha, Charlotte, and Brie.
Yeah.
And so Sasha and Charlotte could throw on a match, but you throw Brie in there and you're like, oh god, this isn't working as well as I wanted it to. So there's something like that. There is the hilarious porn name incident. Which, oh god!
I'm so pissed because I thought Submission Sorority.
I thought it was cool. Yeah, that was kind of cool, especially with Paige at the helm. That kind of sounded fun.
They would have fucking been so much better if they would have named it Submission Sisters first.
Yeah,
because then it wouldn't have been an issue. But now they can't do it.
I remember watching the Raw, and they're like, and we have Team PCB. I'm like, what the fuck?
Now their name is computer based, and it's hilarious.
Yeah. I'm like, what happened to the sorority sisters?
Now every single time they're on screen, I feel like touching my stick. My arcade stick. Because they got PCBs
on them. I know.
You know what? They should have fucking, instead of
Freak Mod sponsorship.
They could have continued with the submission-based name.
Yeah.
And it didn't need to necessarily be an alliteration. I think I used that word right.
No, I think you were correct on that one.
You could have went with Submission Sisters. You could have, used different words.
Mm-hmm.
Like fucking Tap Out Girls would have been a better name than PCB.
Yeah. Hey, you know how much Vince loves money. Throw in some Tap Out shirts on them when they come out.
Oh shit, that would have probably.
Vince loves money.
Fucking
they're sponsored. They have a contract with Tap Out because they have the Tap Out commercials.
Oh, you're right.
So
holy shit.
So
yeah,
exactly.
And fucking the
Tap Out girls. There's your money.
And
Vince.
Charlotte's already been in one of those commercials.
Yeah. In fact, that was actually
perfect.
That's actually a mini feud in NXT because Dana Brooks, the fitness girl, that's what her background. And she's pissed at Charlotte that Charlotte was in the Tap Out commercial when Dana Brooks, the one with the fitness background. So, I mean, shit. Well, that was a great issue. Everyone wins.
Girls,
you get a good name. Vince gets more money in a sponsorship.
Another name I would think would be the Crippler Chicks, but then again, the Chris Benoit
Yeah.
thing. I don't think they ever want to say the word
They
cripple on
never
TV
wanna-
again.
You know what? Miz had a promo, I think either last week or the week after, where he referred to Daniel Bryan as that crippled Daniel Bryan. And I felt like, you can't say that word, only purely because of like the relationship to
Plus,
Chris
with
Benoit.
how similar the movesets are, like between the two.
Yeah, so that
It's like, damn, all the fun. It's almost like they want to create that incident again.
It's just the fact that word existed on an episode of WWE caught me off guard.
Yeah.
So I didn't catch this personally, but I guess that Charlotte and Naomi had a match on SmackDown about 2 weeks ago, and like Charlotte forgot to kick out of a roll up, and the match ended early. Oops.
Well, I mean, it was SmackDown, so they could have just edited it.
I guess, yeah.
Like fucking,
I think, and this is a completely superficial complaint. There's really there's like a lack of any booking, storytelling going on. They're just kind of throwing divas out there to address the matches, which is fine right now. I don't think we'll see any sort of storylines develop until after.
Like, I feel like, and I think that's fine because they're really just introducing these competitors and showing you that they can. Because again, we know them from NXT,
but not everyone
does.
I think it's an important thing to say that a lot of what WWE feels they need to do every week is to think about, hey, this might be someone's first Raw.
Yeah.
Every week is someone's first Raw, and I feel like a lot of the way they do commentary and a lot of the way they call the action and the names of the wrestlers and a lot of the ways that everything's shot is always to make sure that if you're watching Raw for the first time, you kind of understand. They lead you on the path of what's going on. You're never supposed to feel lost. So yeah, I get it. Right. I like it now, and I don't think we'll see a storyline actually develop until after Nikki's number becomes bigger than AJ's.
And I'm fine with them doing it how they're doing it because right now they're pretty much strictly just showcasing the divas that they're going to center the division around eventually, and that's fine because they're just putting them out there. This is clearly just a filler thing because this triple threat elimination tag match is, for one, ridiculous, and I'm totally cool with it. But for two, they're just making it so that they can have this last pay-per-view where the title's not on the line, so they don't have to worry about Nikki fucking pinning any of the new girls. Because if they would have been like, boom, new girls, one of those new girls would have been in the title picture, and they're not going to let Nikki lose that yet.
Yeah.
I feel like not necessarily at the next pay-per-view, but really soon she's going to lose it because, like, I think by the time the next pay-per-view rolls around, she's going to have that record broken.
She's not far from it, if the numbers are
I think they said about 60 days around there.
Something like that.
So, yeah, by the time... I almost want them to do it at WrestleMania, though.
Like,
put it on one of the new girls.
Yeah.
It's been so long since we've had a legitimate Divas... fuck you, all right? Women's Championship match at WrestleMania because they always put, like, huge, giant diva clusterfucks so that all the divas can get fucking paid, And, like, fuck that. Like,
there's a small inkling of me that thinks they'll do that with Charlotte because they've had promos, like sit-down interview promo segments with Charlotte where she's like, my big dream is to win the Divas belt at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And, like, the thing is, like, when you get someone out there and they say that, that's purposeful. Like, they're not going to let them just fucking spitball and then put that on air.
But at the same time, WWE's not good at booking.
No. No.
What I want to see is, because I don't necessarily want to see Nikki versus Charlotte at WrestleMania, So I would say, like, maybe have Nikki lose it at the Royal Rumble to one of the new girls.
Yep.
And then have, like, the new girls, whatever combination may it be, put on a really good match at WrestleMania.
Yes,
and, like,
that's what I want. I want
a one-on-one Divas match, WrestleMania, between, like, say, because, like, you almost feel like Sasha's going to be the one to win it first.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, they already had her tap out the champion clean on Raw. That's huge, for fucking, well, I mean, I guess you could say it's huge. Well, it's more huge now than it was when Paige debuted. Because now they're actually trying. But yeah, like
I would love to see Sasha get it. at Royal Rumble, and then Charlotte, because they have some bad blood between them already in terms of feuding, and the great face heel stuff, and then you have a big showcase at WrestleMania, and they can both put on a show.
You could kind of play up the fact that that the last time they met for a championship, Sasha beat Charlotte.
Yep.
So yeah, there's history there. You can use that. You can do that.
Just one last note for the Divas thing. This most recent Raw, there was a sign that said, "Naomi is ruining Sasha."
Yeah. I mean, like, because you feel like they shoehorned Sasha into that group because they wanted three woman teams, and that's fine. But Naomi is clearly the leader. Mm-hmm. So how are you going to have a leader, but then like one of your sidekicks is the boss?
Yeah.
Because like clearly Sasha is the star of that group, and that's fucked up.
So Sasha's the important one.
Yeah. So it's like just Naomi. Like it's not like Naomi's bad. I don't like her, but it's not like she's bad.
I'm not. Naomi and Tamina aren't terrible. I'm not fond of them, but
they got that Rusev thing going. It's almost racist because I've only said that about people of color so far.
Hey, the WWE booking's working then.
Don't worry, we'll get there with Orton. Okay, we'll get there.
You like who I tell you to like.
But yeah, like,
the big burly American white male is who you're supposed to like.
But I mean, I just don't really care about Naomi. I think she's much better as the heel.
Yes.
Than she was as a face. But I think the main reason why I don't care about Naomi is because of her strictly ass-based offense.
It's comical.
It's not only comical, but it's dumb because her gigantic badonkadonk is not going to add any damage. It's going to remove it. It's like if you're going to give somebody ass-based offense, you want to give it to Charlotte because she's got none.
She's gonna hit with a pair of bones, man.
Yeah, you're gonna get hit with her tailbone, and that's gonna fucking kill you.
It's one of those like. It always feels like one of those obligatory gimmicks that you're supposed to be like, okay, let's all move along with it. Right. Let's all go along with it.
But like, yeah, like fucking, I thought it was great when she started doing things that were like moonsaults and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, have her finishing move be a moonsault. It's like we don't really see moonsaults often, and a moonsault's a great move if you're good at doing them. Yeah. Like fucking, and for one, it's also kind of stereotypically a feminine move, especially in WWE at least. Because, like, fucking Lita, that was her big finishing move. And, like, she did it very characteristically, too, because hers is more like a whip instead of a jump.
Yeah.
She would lean back and kind of fucking whip back, and, like, it fucking killed her knees. But, it was great. So, fucking have some more divas start doing stuff like that. Because why not? Like, I mean, sure, they could hurt themselves, but... at the same company that has people doing red arrows, it's like, yeah, like why not do a moonsault? Like give you got
Ryback goes up for a frog splash and is out for a staph infection on his knees.
Like fucking, you got if anything, do something to unite those diva teams more.
Yeah.
Like you got the submission sorority, which yes, they're not called that, but all three of them, their finishing moves are submissions.
Yes.
And that's great. Fucking what unites Team Bad? They're all black.
That's the thing. They're bad. They're beautiful and dangerous. And I'm like, I know how this works, Vince.
Right.
You're not fooling me for a fucking second.
Fucking like, I mean, you've already got Tamina using like a horrible Superfly splash, but why not have fucking Tamina uses a splash, fucking Naomi could use a moonsault, or have Sasha use a moonsault because she's gonna go somewhere. And, like have Naomi do, I don't know, fucking something off the rope. Yeah. Like you could have them all be like aerial divas. They could start BAD could stand for beautiful like black aerial divas.
Jesus.
The black aerial divas.
But the thing is that they're making improvements. They're headed in the right direction. Yeah. And so,
like, for one, I don't know if you noticed, but when we were talking about the possibility of championship matches, that was something.
Yeah.
Because, like...
You know what you've noticed? We're talking about divas in a positive light, and we have been for, like, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, 20 minutes. That's longer than a diva. That's like 5 divas matches from, like, 3 months ago.
There's something to talk about now, and it's positive, and we're enjoying it. They're in the right direction.
Yeah, and we talked about the possibilities of potential future Divas championship matches, and that belt means nothing. So it's literally getting there now because we just talked about it like it was something.
Yes, it's really refreshing, and I'm enjoying it a lot.
And I think it's great, and it's actually kind of perfect that right now they're trying to break AJ's record because that puts even more kind of importance on it. Because, now it's when AJ held that title for that long, they didn't really mention it that often because they didn't care. But now, they're having Nikki beat the record, and as she's doing it, they're constantly bringing up it's the second longest reigning Divas champion. Only
she
this
could
many
be
days
on
behind.
pace to beat AJ's record.
They are hyping it up. They're making that title a bigger deal. And as much as I wish it wasn't that title, the women finally.
I'd love to have Sasha take it at Royal Rumble and then redesign it.
Yeah. I don't know, make it a spinner. She's black, right? She
is part of Team Black Aerial Divas.
Black Aerial Divas. Fucking fund that. Have that shit. Do
the booking, Luna. I'll get a line to Vince. All right, we need to move on though. We've talked, but it's very good that we've talked this long about Divas.
Yes,
it's very good that we've talked this long about Divas.
Very long time to be talking about women. In the wrestling.
Next match, Kevin Owens and Cesaro.
Yeah. It's going to be a great match.
It's going to be a beautiful match.
And it's going to be one of those matches where it's like the worst part about it is that somebody's going to be pinned.
Yep. And my side note to this was there was a triple threat with Orton, Owens, and Cesaro. It might have been Sheamus too. I can't remember, but
no, it was just those
three. Orton kind of buggers off outside the ring for a bit, and Owens and Cesaro are inside, and they're working the shit out of this match.
Yeah,
because they're workers, and so they're putting on this fucking barn burner of a match, and then Orton comes back in, RKO's him and wins. I'm like, man, fuck you, Randy. Fuck you,
Randy.
I was so pissed. I was like, because they're Owens and Cesaro are going at it, and they're making it look clean. They're making it look one hell of a match. And show up for work on a Monday, Orton comes in and fucking pushes his time card into the little machine at the beginning of the factory and goes, oh, great, another day working for this dickhead. And goes in there, RKOs, and then walks out. I'm like, man, fuck you. Why did you...
Speaking of Orton phoning it in, did you catch that botch that was his fault on Raw?
Which one? I didn't.
He fucking, how it was supposed to go was that he was going to try and RKO Owens.
Mm-hmm.
Owens would reverse it, push him into Cesaro, and then Orton, being the Viper, would turn around and instead RKO Cesaro.
Okay, yeah, I caught half of that. I saw that something didn't look right.
Instead, Orton forgot that he wasn't supposed to land the RKO. And
we just talk about the phrase Orton forgot that he wasn't supposed to land the RKO.
So he goes down, he jumps up on Owens, and Owens stays standing because he was supposed to push him.
Yeah.
So Orton falls and then gets back up, and then fucking Owens pushes him into Cesaro.
That's what it looks
like how it was supposed to be. And I was just like, Orton fucking forgot that he wasn't supposed to get that one. That's so fucking awful.
Jesus.
And at first glance, when you saw that, you thought it might have been Owens' botch. You thought that maybe he was supposed to go down. But then when you saw the part right after that, you knew that fucking Randy fucked up.
Yeah.
He wanted to hit his move, and he was like, oh, fuck, damn it.
And I'm going to try to remember this when we talk about Sheamus and Randy, because we're going to have nothing else to talk about. But there's another thing I want to bring up. But we'll get to that. Regardless, Kevin Owens versus Cesaro is going to be probably match of the night, if not contender for it, because it's going to be just a hell of a match.
Yeah, it should be good.
They're going to put on one hell of a match.
Especially if there's no shenanigans, it'll definitely be the best match without shenanigans.
Yeah. And then next up, I actually really excited for this match. Stephen Amell and Neville versus Stardust and King Barrett in tag action. I think this is going to be a good match. Amell, as I was talking to my little brother, he watches Arrow, he's like, you know that Amel is like ripped as hell, right? He pulls up a picture like this guy is shredded.
Yeah.
Like he has the physique to do wrestling things.
Yeah.
So I have no doubt that they've probably trained him just to do some basic stuff and make it look good, and that's more than enough.
He's probably going to be the hot tag guy.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I enjoy all other three wrestlers. Obviously Neville's my boy.
Yeah.
And then I like Stardust, and I wish King Barrett wasn't getting shafted.
See, here's my problem. I pretty much feel the same way you do,
Mhm.
with the exception of I also have that, you know, I'm very conditionable
Mhm.
by WWE. So whenever even guys that I like are given no reason for me to care about them, then I don't care about them.
Yes, yeah.
So
That's how I feel
both
about
Barrett and Stardust, despite the fact that Barrett deserves better and Stardust definitely deserves better,
Yep.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, because we're just trying not to give a fuck.
Yeah,
about
it's
it.
like-
it's terrible because I want to like both those guys a lot, but every time I see Barrett, I feel regret.
Yeah. Like, if you feel regret, fuck.
Yeah.
He probably looks in the mirror every day and he was like, I was supposed to be the first UK-born champion.
He's like, I have these oblong stacked 8-pack, and for nothing. But there was a great promo where, you know, Stardust is in his like black room with the stars kind of thing. It's him and Barrett. Barrett's kind of hunched over because Barrett's like 6'7", and Cody's not. Barrett's a tall dude.
Yeah.
You know how tall I am.
Yeah.
6'7" is bigger than me by a lot.
How tall are you?
I'm tall. I'm 6'3".
6'3".
Yeah, so you have to imagine.
It's crazy how much 4 inches can add when it's not a penis. Because I mean, if you're talking about adding 4 inches to a penis, that's ridiculous. It's like you could take even the smallest Asian penis, put 4 inches on it, then you've got like a monster.
Gigadong.
Gigadong.
So Stardust is cutting a promo, which is great because he knows how to cut promos.
Yeah.
He's got great talent for it. Probably because he's related to Dusty.
Yeah.
And Barrett's in there, and Stardust has this like shiny spiked shoulder pad thing, like the royal shoulder pad with the cape, and he puts it on Barrett and he calls him like the king of the cosmos or something. And I'm like, that's great. That's great. That's how you get out of jobber hell, Barrett. That's it. Like,
he's not just king of the ring, he's king of the cosmos.
He's king of the
now.
cosmos, and he's got Stardust with him. Like, if they keep that angle going after this match, that's like both of these guys can maybe work their way off of the absolute bottom of the card.
Is Stardust gonna start like rolling up a bunch of objects in order to take over the world?
He's the king of the cosmos, not king of all the cosmos.
Oh shit!
I know.
I'm glad you got the reference at least.
No, trust me.
Because that one was a little reaching.
No, I love Katamari games. Yeah, no, but this I'm thinking this is a match where all three wrestlers can have a good match, and they're all gonna look good. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun match for everyone. There's the only thing that worries me is I heard some dirt sheet shit saying that Stephen Amell like cracked his jaw in training.
He'll be fine.
So. But, yeah.
Like, for some reason, I'm not worried. No. Like, the thing is, again, he's probably going to be the hot tag guy.
He's not going to do much, but
he's not going to do a whole lot.
I know he's in physical condition to do something. Yeah. So I'm okay.
And literally, normally, if it was just these three in the match and like throw in, I don't know, fucking someone else on Neville's team, maybe I wouldn't be as positive on it. But since you've got a star being there, you know they're going to give this match. You know.
And there's the anticipation of like, are they gonna allow Stephen Amell to come out in the Arrow uniform?
That'd be cool.
That's like
they said. They've already said it. You know, the Red Arrow and the Green Arrow.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun comic book shenanigans. It's just gonna be a fun match. So I'm really
like, at the very least, you could probably assume that fucking they're gonna give him a finishing move and they're just gonna call it
the Green Arrow. Yeah.
What do you think it would be? I was like, he's got to be able to lift one of those guys at least.
Oh, he can lift one of those guys.
I mean, unless he is going to like fucking do an aerial.
I don't know.
Because like we seen that he can fucking like
he hopped the ropes like he knew what he was doing.
He's got hops.
Yeah, so I want it to be a match where I can sit down and just mark out over it. Yeah. Next tag match is the fatal 4-way for the tag belts. Primetime players. Los Jabadores, Lucha Dragons, and our boys, the New Day.
One thing I gotta stop throwing the Matadors.
Yes, please.
Into shit, please. And it's not that I have anything against them. It's just, goddamn, you never do anything with them ever. You know they're not going to win, and if they do win, no one's going to care.
The thing is, they've been in all the booking for the tag matches has been like, throw them out there with some jobbers while someone's on commentary. Oops, we only have one team of jobbers right now. So Los Matadores are making their paychecks. You know, props to them. But I'm excited for this match because it's a match that plays to the strengths of each team. New Day do not put on bad matches. Yeah, they're great.
Because all three of those guys are good.
They wrestle like hell.
Yeah.
The Lucha Dragons are going to do exciting flippy shit because that's what they do best.
Yeah.
Titus is going to get a hot tag and clean house and look like a monster because that's what primetime players do best.
Meanwhile,
Los Matadores are
Darren Young's going to be on the ground doing what he does best, grinding with males.
You're just being mean now, aren't you?
No, I mean,
I know.
You know, it's fine. I wouldn't fuck any of those guys, so you know, more power to him if he would.
I will say on a serious note that I do hope that Darren Young gets more screen time because the last pay-per-view they were in, Darren Young actually got to do some wrestling that wasn't getting beat
Plus
up.
Plus his finisher is probably the coolest out of all those guys.
Oh, the lift up.
Yep.
Bring down on the knees thing.
I don't even know
What's
if
called?
He's got a name for that.
No.
But like, see, I'm a huge fucking mark for any move that starts off in a fireman's carry position. Mm-hmm. My least favorite was to go to sleep, you know, but I still loved it. So it's like when you find new ways to do that, I think it's great. So
it's a really good.
Whenever I see a guy fucking hoist somebody on their shoulders like that, I'm like, what are you gonna do? I want to see it. And then like fucking, you know, usually it's really straightforward. It's a fucking slam or something like that. But Darren Young, the first time I saw he busted out this fucking move, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, it looks good. It always looks clean.
Yeah.
Hopefully WWE isn't stupid enough to give the title to someone other than the New Day.
Yeah, I mean,
the New Day need their damn belts back at SummerSlam and give them their damn belts back because they shouldn't have lost it in the first place. I understand why he gave it to Titus.
Yeah.
Because it was Titus' time because he got Megadad. But then, oh my god. And so there was that, this was like 2-3 weeks ago. Titus and Darren are on commentary again. And they're playing up the thing for Yucks with Darren's like, catchphrase being something.
Gonna wow the crowd.
Gonna wow the crowd. That's it. They're great on commentary. They're absolutely a blast.
Yes.
And so New Day come out for like the interruption or whatever, and they're doing their Skippy dance, and they got a sign over Kofi's head that says "Real Megadad of the Year." I'm like, these guys, I'm like, they're great.
Yeah.
They're perfect. It was so simple. It's so easy to find them enjoyable because it was the match after they went out there and they beat Lucha Dragons, I think it was. And then this is like 2 weeks ago, and Renee comes out and she's like, guys, so it's going to be you and Primetime Players for SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah.
And the people who just beat Lucha Dragons and Los Matadores. And that promo, my mom was watching. I'm like, Mom, just watch these guys for a second. Because it's really easy to relate to what is funny about them.
Yeah.
They're all into it, and so then Xavier starts complaining, and Kofi brings him back in, and they're about to start doing the clap, and Big E's over there like licking his hands, getting ready for the clap. Like they're so funny and they're so enjoyable, and they wrestle like demons out there.
Yeah.
So give them their goddamn belts back.
You know what I'd really love to see, and I've mentioned this like technically already. But the New Day, if they were like booked a little bit more strongly, like for example, I mean they're pretty much comedy guys, but they're still really good. If they were booked a little bit more strongly,
they're still booked. They're booked respectably.
Yeah, but I mean like strongly as like a unit, I guess you could say. They could easily be some guys that you could put in there against the Shield and the Wyatt family.
I know.
fucking, like, the more good 3-man teams, the easier we could have, like, a trios division or something.
Yeah.
Not that I think WWE would necessarily need a 3-man title, but, you know, like, that'd be...
we would love to see Shield versus Family versus New Day.
Something about 3-man teams nowadays is really getting me... Because, like, some of the best things WWE has produced recently, or within the last couple of years, have been trios guys. Like the Shield, fucking your next 3 top guys, all right there.
Yep.
Fucking the Wyatt family, probably one of your more interesting groups.
I love the Wyatt family.
Fucking, and then you got the New Day, who have like fucking revitalized the tag team division as far as entertainment value goes.
Them and Kid Saro were instrumental at putting the tag division back on the map.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned Shield and Wyatt because they are the next match.
Yay!
So it's Bray and Luke versus Roman and Dean.
And I have the most ominous feeling about this match.
Oh, do tell.
Because there's so many different ways that it can go, as far as like, but like everybody I talk to seems to agree that a heel turn is coming for one of those 2 guys.
Really?
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't want it to be Dean, but I feel like it might be Dean.
I don't believe in a heel turn right now, only because I'm still kind of anti-Roman, and I think WWE knows that.
Well, that's exactly why Roman needs a heel turn.
Well, I think WWE knows that they've struck pretty solid gold in just keeping Dean with Roman.
I mean, Dean and Roman are great.
It makes Roman look better.
Yeah.
I'm still... Okay, so here's the thing. Last week on Raw, Roman and Luke had to wrestle.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan of Luke Harper.
Yeah.
Because he's fantastic in the ring.
Yeah.
And
he's huge.
He's massive. And like...
he's ugly. I fucking love him.
I love him. I do. It's the perfect child, man. He's huge, he's beefy, he's ugly.
And he's great in the ring.
Great in the ring.
It's like shit.
Well, because it was a couple weeks before that, it was Luke versus Dean, and you don't see this at all, but that one match, Luke would like stand over Dean and flex. And I'm like, oh man, he's huge. Like his gimmick isn't built for him to look all muscly, but he started doing like minor flexing in front of like over Dean. I'm like, shit, this guy's built like a truck, man. Yeah. So
you forget some of those guys because like Dean himself too.
Oh yeah, Dean's ripped, but you never get to see it. So Luke Harper I'm a huge mark for Luke Harper. And so it's Luke and Roman in this match, and I know Roman can't do very much right now because he just doesn't have the experience. And I'm tired of seeing Roman in matches like this because Luke's out there wrestling the shit out of it. He's putting him in like the Mekanuchi driver or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, the
Michinoku driver. That was it. He's like hitting him with that. He's throwing the fucking book at Roman. And the thing is, like, he's trying to obviously carry Roman to a good match.
Yeah.
And I don't see it. I don't see it at all because all I see Roman do is get hit with some impressive shit and then kick out. And I'm like, that's cool, but you've been doing that since Mania, and I'm no longer on board with this. And all I see in this match is Luke Harper doing cool shit.
Here's my thing with Roman, and because I've never disliked Roman, I was always in agreement with the people that said he didn't deserve the push he was getting around Mania time.
Yeah.
Because he totally did not.
Totally did not.
Yes, he's more limited in the ring than my other favorite guys. Mm-hmm. Yes, he's more limited on the mic than my other favorite guys. And I pretty much, with me, mic skills is like 99% what I look for in my favorite guys. The one big exception was Chris Benoit. But Roman, where he is now in the mid-card, beating mid-carders, is fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with this.
You could market him as a monster against fucking guys who don't necessarily go out there to win. And like his moveset isn't awful when he's just doing what he's doing, because right now that is his thing. His thing is to kick out of impressive shit and then find a way to win with his limited moveset.
Yeah.
You know, and that's fine at that level. The one issue I have with Roman is that you know he's only there to cool him off.
With
Not
the-
necessarily cool him off, but to cool
to
fans off
cool
on him.
he's only there to cool the anti-heat.
Which is why I feel like if they try to turn Dean on him, it's going to be met with a lot of negative reaction. Because Roman is the one that needs to, if either of them turn heel, it needs to be Roman. Because remember what you thought of New Day before they turned heel?
Yeah, they sucked.
Yeah.
Everyone thought they sucked.
But imagine if that same thing, if Roman can be salvaged with a heel turn. And again, it really depends on what he does with the heel turn, what they do with him with the heel turn. But if you were to turn heel and start playing up the fact that he's this dude that's getting everything because he's a monster, because he's a badass, so he deserves all the shots that he's getting. He deserves to be the next big thing. You know, he starts being this cocky asshole, and he goes out there and he doesn't do much to win a match. He just fucking throws hands, throws a guy around a little bit, beats him with a spear without any effort.
And that works better to his moveset because he has I love the fact you came with this name, the high school bombing.
The high school bomber, yeah.
I love that. But he's got power moves like that. Because my thing is, I always feel like the point of every match is to make Roman look good for the eventual push.
That is the problem.
I'm not okay with it because in Roman's state right now, be it that he's face, be it that I don't know if it's a combination of the fact that he's face, he's not good on the mic. He's not very good on the mic. He's not very good in the ring.
99.9% of Roman's problem is the WWE. Mm-hmm. Roman is perfectly built to be in a different position. You know, because you think, what makes a Brock Lesnar match so good?
Because he's big, beefy, and has power moves.
Yeah, he's not
a wrestler.
Even though I know you've never seen any of Brock's old matches.
Not the old ones, no.
But Brock Lesnar in current WWE has 2 moves.
Yeah.
Okay? Just 2. It's all about who he is. You know, he's got his mouthpiece to do the talking. He's big and posing. He's this monster. He goes out there and he suplexes a guy 13 times, then F5s him for the win. That's it. That's all he does. That's all he needs to do.
Yeah.
We love him for it. If anyone else was in that position, we'd hate him. Because it'd be like, this guy doesn't fucking do anything. You know, why does he get a shot at John Cena? You know, but no, Brock Lesnar is Brock Lesnar, so it works. So if you were to take Roman, stop trying to make people cheer for him. And yes, people do cheer for him.
Yeah, I feel that WWE is hesitant to do that because Roman does have that certain kids and women appeal to him.
But the thing is,
and I fear that they're going to lose that if they take I feel they fear that they're going to lose that.
He totally works so much better as the cocky guy because it's 100% of the reason why fans don't want to cheer for him or why fans don't like him, period, is because they feel like where he is now, he does not deserve to be.
Yes.
So if you make that his character is literally telling the fans, fuck you, I deserve to be here, look at me. That he's immediately a much better heel than he could have ever been as a face. That's what they did with The Rock. That is literally how Rock was. He started off as a babyface, Rocky Maivia.
Yep.
Nobody liked him because he was doing things he shouldn't have been doing because he's fighting. Why are you pushing this kid? He's nobody. We don't like. He's fucking smiling at a smile. And it's so pretty.
Yeah, he's got the perfect babyface smile.
Yeah, he was literally the epitome of a literal babyface. They turned him heel. The Rock started talking shit to the fans. Joined the nation. People started loving him because he got this attitude. He got this persona. He became The Rock. I'm not saying Roman Reigns will do that, but it'll definitely be a fucking start.
Yeah, I really like the idea of Roman turning heel, especially just because the one thing is Roman cannot get a push in his current state.
Yeah. Because
he's just not improving on what he's doing in the role they currently have him in.
So the downside, if they were to turn Dean heel against Roman, is that you literally have a bunch of people that already dislike Roman.
Yep.
And now you know that, oh great, he's going to feud with Dean, so now he's going to go over Dean.
And people are going to be mad as hell.
People are going to be mad as hell about it.
Because John Moxley has got his fan base, and they're vocal.
And like, yes, I know Dean is a great heel. Well, not right now, obviously, but he could be a great heel.
Mm.
He was a heel most of his career, you know, and he could be great at it. But he's also great where he is now, well, not where he is now, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, in his role.
He's great at being who he is. And if you try to turn a guy that everybody unanimously loves against a guy that most people dislike for the reasons we stated, it's just going to do the exact opposite of what you want. It's not going to get Roman more over. It's going to like cement Dean as somebody that's just a filler opponent for fucking Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So if they turn Roman Reigns heel and have his reason for turning, because if you notice, even the last two matches, I don't even got to go back very far, on Raws and I think SmackDown, Roman versus Luke, Roman wins.
Mm-hmm.
Ambrose versus Luke, Ambrose loses. So they could play it off as like Roman Reigns, like, man, fucking I'm being held back, you know, I deserve, so, you know, I fucking go out there and I win against everybody that's put in my way. The only time I ever lose is when Dean Ambrose gets in my way. And then, you know, we had all the fucking Dean Ambrose has been talking nonstop about how Roman was his very first friend, you know, like on the road and shit.
Oh, yeah, big friendship heel turn.
You know, he's the only one that he can trust and shit. So you get, like, this dynamic where it's like, not only did Seth Rollins turn his back on Dean Ambrose, but Roman Reigns turned his back on Dean Ambrose.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like, right now, where Dean Ambrose is, he's pretty much the highest tier that a comedy guy can get. And I wouldn't consider Dean Ambrose 100% of a comedy guy.
No.
But his entertainment factor, for the most part, is in the fact that he's a funny lunatic. That's what he does. So this will kill two birds with one stone, because you will get Roman his heel turn to kind of salvage his character. And you'll also salvage Dean's character, because now, instead of being the lunatic who goes out there because, like, you know, he has fun.
Kind of kooky.
Yeah, he loves doing that shit. Now you've got even more serious Dean Ambrose. Because, like, even against Seth Rollins, you know, like, yeah, it was a blood feud. But he was still kind of fucking doing the Dean Ambrose, like, funny shtick. With this here, you could have it be really fucking hardcore, like, Dean Ambrose is a broken fucking man because both of his friends and his best friend in Roman recently turned on him.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, fucking, it could just be huge. Like, you know, you were supposed to be my friend. Like, fucking, you could have him literally go crazy. You know, like, say at the end, well, not the end of SummerSlam, but the end of this match at SummerSlam, fucking, you know, Roman Reigns beats down Ambrose because, oh, he got pinned in this match, you know, because that'd probably be what would spark that on. So, you know, the next night on Raw, you could have Dean Ambrose come out there and give a heel-type beatdown on Roman Reigns, the whole time shouting, "You're supposed to be my friend," you know, just fucking him up and, like, making it, like, this gruesome fucking beatdown to where it's like, who the fuck's the heel right now? Like, holy shit. Like, you could have it be this, like, gross, ridiculous thing, and it would elevate both guys, because it's like, holy shit, Dean Ambrose is back. He's not, like, this kooky dude anymore. He's fucking out for blood. And then Roman Reigns is, like, this cocky asshole that, you know, fucking the tension will be there, because it's like, will they still have Roman win because he's fucking Roman Reigns?
Is the push machine still behind him?
So the way I'm thinking, if there is a heel turn, I'm not, you know, it's not 100%. If there is a heel turn, it's got to be Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Worst timeline is having fucking Dean Ambrose turn on fucking Roman Reigns.
It's so sad we've talked about this for a while, because I'm really excited for this scenario to play out.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna watch this match. This, you know, not particularly entertaining match. It'll be fun. It'll be good. And then nothing happened.
Yeah, like
that's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna be like,
the safe bet, the safe thing is to have, like, you know, the Shield lose because another member of the Wyatt family comes out and interferes. You know, it's like the safest fucking outcome. And I wouldn't hate it. You know, I wouldn't love it unless it was the return of Rowan.
Yeah.
You know, like, it won't be. But if it was, I'd be fine with that. But if there's a brand new member of the Wyatt family,
yeah, I'm just gonna be like, man, forget this.
I mean, and like there's been talk of a new member of the Wyatt family happening, and if it is, I mean, I guess it could be one of the Shield that turns, maybe. I guess I didn't factor that into my whole fantasy booking a second ago.
When you were saying that, while you were explaining Roman heel turn, I had the mental image of Roman in a Hawaiian shirt. I'm like, let's go with this.
I mean, like, realistically, he's the only one out of the two that can join the Wyatt family because he's the only one with a beard going.
Yep.
I mean, I guess it's a goatee, but what the fuck ever, But, like, a lot of people are suspecting that Dean's going to join the Wyatt family because he fits in more with the Wyatt family. Because he's the
crazy one.
And that's 100% true, but I do not want that.
I don't like it.
110% do not want that.
All right. So, match after this is the longest running garbage feud that we've had to deal with.
Sheamus and Randy!
No, it's Ryback, Big Show, and Miz.
Oh, I forgot about that match because it's a forgettable match.
Oh my notes say, poor Ryback. He does not deserve to be stuck in this garbage feud.
Who's booking for Ryback? Is CM Punk booking Ryback? Because I feel like CM Punk's got the book on this feud.
Yeah. So, but it's like tragic because what was it? There was a 5-week build up to Battlegrounds, and you're like, oh Christ, I have to deal with 5 weeks of seeing Big Show and The Miz, and then you get to Battleground and Ryback, who has been trying to like kick ass and take names, he's changed up his style a bit. As I mentioned earlier, he did that top rope frog splash, which is like not something he's kind of booked to do. He's the big muscle guy, so he's not really supposed to be doing the high flying top rope shit.
Right.
But he's out there doing it because he's trying to make the best out of his damn IC times. But he gets a staph infection, so they can't do the match at Battlegrounds, and now we have to wait another 5 weeks of the Big Show and Miz to get this match, and I'm just like, Christ, Ryback, go over these clowns in like a minute 20. Get this out of the way.
Dude, I would completely forgive this match if Ryback comes in there, hits fucking The Miz with a meat hook, takes Big Show up for fucking, the
shell shock.
Yeah. Within like a minute, and then wins the match. Yeah. I'd be so fine with it.
So happy.
Because it's like, it'd be something like, because you're not going to get a good match out of those three.
No.
Not together.
No.
Fucking have him go in there and squash those two guys in a triple threat match.
I would think it plausible if it wasn't for the fact that SummerSlam's 4 frickin' hours long now, and I'm like, Christ.
I mean, with as many matches on the card, they could stretch out a lot of them. Fuck it.
Oh my god.
Plus, they only really need to fill 3.5 hours.
Yeah. Okay. I don't even want to talk about this anymore. I want this feud to be over. Better luck next time, Ryback. I'm getting a good feud.
Yep, better luck
next time. I'm so sorry this happened.
Maybe it'll be with heel Roman Reigns.
Please.
That would be cool. I'd be into that. A heel Roman Reigns.
Please. Ryback, you deserve better. Go get better out there. All right. John Cena versus Seth Rollins for both the U.S. and the World Heavyweight belts.
Yep.
The fear is that Cena wins.
LOL.
Cena wins, LOL. Insert the GIF.
Now, okay. I don't think there's any chance in hell that Cena is winning. Or not necessarily winning, but leaving with the titles.
Mm-hmm.
Because notice his merch that he came out with this Raw.
Yeah, I know. It's the 15th time.
And he tried to squash any naysayers by saying, oh, I came up with this before.
Yeah, a month ago. Yeah.
Listen, okay, it's not about you. It's about the company.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking, we know kayfabe, the reason why you have that merchandise. But this isn't about kayfabe. It's about the fact that your company is like, he's a 15-time world champion, and we're going to market him as such. Put that on his shirt.
Yeah.
And the company is, for example, Brock Lesnar had the Eat, Sleep, Break the Streak shirt.
Yeah.
Like a month going into WrestleMania. We didn't think there was a fucking, snowball's chance in hell that he would win, but he fucking did. Like, the writing was there.
We just weren't seeing it.
We just refused to see it,
Yeah.
There's no way you're going to make a shirt and not go through with it. The Eat, Sleep, Conquer John Cena shirt. again, showed up like fucking a month before SummerSlam. He literally conquered John Cena.
Yeah.
He did not just win. So I don't think there's any chance of Cena leaving a 16-time world champion. But, as I will discuss and what I think might happen, I do think he might still leave with the United States title.
Yes.
So, I'm going to have to touch a little bit on the next match after.
But that's fine, because the way this is structured is kind of okay with it.
So
the next match is Sheamus and Randy.
Yeah.
Randy!
So, okay. Here's an idea that I kind of had. The Money in the Bank briefcase awards you a shot at the WWE title.
Yes.
Not the United States title.
Exactly.
So, this actually even makes it perfect for me, too, because I don't even see any money in Sheamus being the WWE champion.
Not at all. I think it's a foregone conclusion as soon as he got it. He's not getting the belt off of his cash in.
No, he is. And if in my fantasy booking he is.
You have to understand a WWE logic where you take the booking that makes sense and do the exact opposite.
Well, here's the thing. This booking does not make sense. It is the most reaching that I've ever went. And that's why I think it's plausible. All right, so here's what I think happens.
Yeah.
Fucking, Cena, Rollins go out there. They do their thing. It's going to be a great match because fucking can't not be.
Yeah.
Sheamus comes out, cashes in, makes it a triple threat.
Mm-hmm.
Just like.
Yep, Seth did.
So he pins one of the two. Like, I mean, you could say that it'll be Rollins so that Cena doesn't have to pin.
I would say that.
But here's the thing. Cena's going to get a pin anyway. So Sheamus cashes in, wins, but then they point out, oh, wait a minute, even though it was made a triple threat, the Money in the Bank only qualifies for the WWE title.
Yeah.
So this match is going to continue one-on-one for the U.S. title.
Yes, and then Cena gets the U.S. title.
So Cena beats Rollins and remains the United States champion. So Cena gets to have his win without being 16-time world champion. Then the next match rolls around. So they make that for the title.
Yeah.
Sheamus versus Randy for the title. To which Randy wins. Now Randy's the champion. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That would be a perfect setup to maybe give Rollins the belt right back. Because, like, because obviously the first thing Rollins is going to be thinking about is getting his title back.
Yes. Here's the thing. I don't think Rollins is winning because, and this is kind of cheesy logic on my part, but hear me out on this. Before the contract signing, Seth was talking to H and his wife. I don't know. I just blanked. Yeah, I don't know why I blanked on Stephanie's name for a second there. And he's like, man, guys, I'm the best.
Yeah.
If I go out there and win against John Cena, I should get a statue of myself.
Yeah.
And Triple H says, yes, if you go out there and win against John Cena, you can get a statue of yourself. And in my mind, I'm going, you know what? Making a statue of Seth Rollins costs money, so he's not going to go out there and win.
Well, the thing is, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm kind of thinking, because, like, if Sheamus were to come out there, cash in, and win, then they couldn't necessarily have heel Sheamus versus heel Rollins, because for one, no one cares about Sheamus,
exactly,
and for two, Rollins is the top heel of the company. So having Sheamus cash in, win the WWE title, have Cena retain the US title, have Sheamus in the same night lose the belt to Randy, then you could easily have Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins, yes, again, but that would be a make sense kind of feud, because at least it would be a face Randy Orton versus a heel Seth Rollins for the title.
Yeah.
And you could do other combinations for it. Like, this is a whole clusterfuck type thing, so you can make it like a triple threat or a fatal four-way, but again, like, it would make a lot more sense than having Sheamus have that title for any amount of time. And it would, like, for the kind of pageantry of the night, being the first 4-hour SummerSlam, it is SummerSlam, so they could constantly say, it was the only time in SummerSlam history where the title was lost the match directly after it was won. They could put numbers on it and it would be even better for that situation. So I think, assuming the order of these matches is 100% correct.
It should be.
Yeah. So if that happens, that's a thing, But either way.
Because a cash-in's happening. Because the way it's booked, John Cena, who's booked never to lose, versus Seth Rollins, who's booked never to win, for 2 belts, that's not going to be a clean match in any way. There's a cash-in shenanigan that's going to happen.
Yeah. Something's got to give, because even if fucking, you can't even say the best case scenario is that Rollins wins clean, because even though you'd love to see that happen against Cena to cement Rollins as a legit top guy, you're not going to give him 2 belts. You're not going to give him both of those belts, especially the way the United States title has been.
You can't just catapult him there.
Yeah.
And my apologies, minor tangent. Fuck you, Seth Rollins.
For you fucked my wife.
You fucked my boy. There was the World Heavyweight Open Challenge.
Yeah.
And he's like, he has to be under 6 foot. And
I loved that. I loved it.
And Neville comes out and fucking Seth Rollins beats Neville clean. It's the only person he's...
Now, to be fair, it was a clean win, but Neville looked strong as fuck and they're still protecting the shit out of that finisher.
Yeah, that's great. I love the fact that it's protected. Yeah. I'm just mad that Neville was the pin baby for Seth winning a clean match. And even so far as, and I love Neville and his ability to sell, Neville sells the shit out of that pedigree.
Yeah.
He takes it with his goddamn face.
Yep, it was a good-looking pedigree.
It was a good-looking pedigree because Neville's out there. He's like, if I gotta make my dues, I'm gonna make Seth Rollins look like a motherfucker.
Yep.
I'm not gonna go out there like Kane and take my pedigree with my knees or some crap and make Seth look like shit. No, I'm gonna jump and I'm gonna eat the pedigree with my face, and then my body's gonna come slamming down afterwards. I'm like, thank you, Neville. There needs to be 8 more of you in this company. Fuck you, Seth. I don't want you to go clean over a guy like Neville. I was just mad by that. I was like, man, out of all the guys, and they probably put him out there because Neville can sell like hell.
Yeah.
So, but I was just mad because now Neville's at like the bottom of the card. I'm
like, honestly,
yeah, it's not that bad. I just had fan nerd rage.
Yeah, but to be fair, realistically, if you're going one-on-one with the WWE champion, one-on-one, and it's not a squash match, then it's a great thing.
Yeah.
Because the only time you should be beating the WWE champion clean, even if it's a non-title match, is if you are fucking next in line.
Like Sasha.
Exactly.
Alright, so Sheamus and Randy have a match that might be for the belt. If it's not, we don't care.
If it is, I don't care.
Yeah,
it's still just a filler.
Don't care.
But it would definitely still make it interesting. It'd be like, Sheamus just won it.
And it'd be intriguing, but we still won't care about the match because how many times have we seen Sheamus and Randy?
Yeah.
Quick point I wanted to bring back now that we're talking about Randy. Randy. So there was. I don't know if this was the same triple threat I was talking about earlier or another match.
Yeah.
I think it was the same triple threat. Orton gets, and I think it was Cesaro and Owens, so I think it's the same triple threat. Orton gets Cesaro and Owens, one under each arm, and gets like a double draping DDT going.
Yeah.
And he goes to hit it, and Cole, in his like infinite wisdom, goes, vintage Orton. And I'm like, I'm about to turn the TV off and go upstairs and like try and find the toppest point of my 1-story building to jump off of and kill myself. And JBL's there. Thank God. Thank you, JBL. And he goes, vintage squared. I'm like, thanks for saving this fucking Titanic.
Vintage squared.
Jeez, like Cole couldn't find it in himself to say double vintage Orton. Either that or Dunn's in his ear, like, call it vintage Orton. I'm like,
I like it when you say things twice.
Christ on a bicycle. I was just ready to die. I was ready to just dig my grave and just hop in it, man. I wanted nothing to do with that anymore. I checked out. I completely checked out. So no one cares about that match. And then Brick Laser versus Old Man Taker. Who cares? Part 2.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
You know, I get it. Like, it's a main event. I'm sure some people care about it, but I don't care.
No one care about it. Here's someone's brought this up on my image board of choice when it comes to wrestling. Sting runs in and sets up Taker and Sting for WrestleMania.
Okay.
And then Taker retires off that. That's a dream scenario.
I'd be fine with that.
I'd be so fine with that.
Because, like, honestly,
it's time for Taker to go.
With as star-studded as this main event is, it's, you know, come on. Again, we've seen it before, and when we saw it the first time, it was awful. You know, iconic moment, broke the streak. Did you watch that match?
Yeah, I don't remember very much of it, but I watched that match.
That's because it was horrible.
That's exactly, because I was thinking about that. I'm like, how did that match go? And I'm thinking back at that match, and I go, I don't remember that match.
I spent most of that match masturbating to hentai on it. Like, literally, like, I could not find myself a way to
just
care.
can't. Yeah, and I think about this match, I'm like, okay, so it's one guy who's like, how old's Taker? Like,
90 or something. You know?
Stupid old.
He's
and we have Bork Briggs Man of the Big Clan who can just throw things.
Yeah.
So,
but again, like, I believe we brought it up.
Yeah. Last episode.
Yeah.
What's going to happen in this match?
He's not.
Nothing's. Taker's not going to take this bump.
Yeah, he's not.
Taker will die. If Taker takes any of those German suplex bumps, he will die.
I just don't see this match being good.
No.
You know. Like,
so yeah, dream scenario: Sting runs in, sets up Sting Taker for Mania, and then Taker retires, and that's the perfect storybook ending to the Undertaker.
Yeah.
That's the perfect story. 20 years late for that match, but who cares? That's the greatest way to end his career.
Would they make his final record 2-2-2?
I guess
22-2.
I mean, he's not going to be long.
Losing against Sting.
I
think that's a potential
losing against Sting? No. God no.
I just think it'd be kind of shitty if in Sting's only WWE matches he loses both of them.
It is, but you know that if they want Taker to retire off this, he's going to go over the old WCW guy.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to see this match back in the day, and we always wondered.
But now it means nothing.
Yeah, we always wondered if Taker would beat Sting, but it's the best way to end Taker's career. Have him beat Sting, be done after that. End your WrestleMania right there. You beat the guy that people have been wanting you to beat for the past 2 decades. And then SummerSlam ends.
Yeah.
SummerSlam ends with Sting running in. I'd be okay with that. All right. It's like past midnight, dude. I need to go home. I got work tomorrow morning, son.
I got to work tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. Well, I got work tomorrow mornings, sir. Tomorrow morning. So I guess that does it for us. Overall, though, I'm very excited for this weekend. Yeah. It's gonna be a great time. I'll be over at your place for SummerSlam.
It's gonna be a stacked crowd too, because like fucking, we're gonna be like having 5 people or something.
Yeah, it'll be a blast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have my laptop and take show notes because we'll probably do 2 Raws afterwards. Will be our next episode.
Probably something like that.
Something like that.
So people will see it probably 3 Raws after. People are gonna see this after SummerSlam.
No, I'm gonna get this up before SummerSlam.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna edit this and then go to an internet cafe because I don't have internet yet.
Oh shit.
Or
you could just come over here.
I'm actually, because that was the other thing. I'm gonna come over here because I'll be here anyway for casuals tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna bring my computer over and have it upload that Friday night and be like, and get on social media and be like, "Are you excited for this weekend of WWE action? Yep. So are we. Listen to our podcast."
It's like the first 4-hour SummerSlam meets the first episode of this you're going to hear. Because no one knows about us.
No one knows about us yet.
Fucking even our fans don't even listen. I don't even care. Shit.
Oh, whatever. It's just
I gotta listen to 2 hours of this.
Two nerds, 2 hours? No, too long. Anyways, I think that clocks out for us. So signing off. This is Mr. Usuck. Follow me on Twitter at MRUSUK.
This is the LunaKage match. You can follow me at the only LunaKage.
And we'll see you guys on the opposite side of both NXT Takeover Brooklyn and SummerSlam 2015. Bye-bye.
Randy.
Randy.